Okay.
Well, here we are in the after show afterthoughts, and there is the beautiful Germaine Goodson. Look at her, just a smiling, just as pretty as a picture. Look at her.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. You were absolutely wonderful. I know. I think I'm laughing because you say, well, Debbie, she's the other half of the team, and she's the one who talks all the time, and did it. And I went, okay.
She'll be surprised. So Deborah knows. They always say, "Well, Deborah, what do you think?" I was like, "Let her talk, because I'm listening."
Uh-huh. Well, but you had a lot to say, and we really want to know about you also. It's a wonderful it's a wonderful thing to know you ladies. I am very, very blessed. I've always admired people who have the gift of dance. I've always loved to commercially dance, with all the rhythm and blues, but the training dance, I would always get to a point where people could almost say that I was a dancer. And then I say, oh no, 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 I move well. That's what I
No, but you were good, and you
do.
beat everything that I seen you in. I was like, "Gal, I want to be like them." You know.
I know. Well, it was a great company to be with. Everybody inspired everybody, and that's it. It comes that kind of thing is a once in a career time. You don't get it a lot. I've had wonderful shows that I've been in. I've enjoyed many, many wonderful roles and many, many casts. But that one is like family. That one is still like family. You
Same.
know, and that was really a long time ago. But I really enjoyed. I really, really enjoyed that whole experience. And I live it again over and over again when I enter the world of going to a class or into, getting instruction. It brings back a lot. I am in a phase also now where, as well as performing, I'm an activist kind of, I'm doing things that require a lot of administration. And so I force myself to do the classes because you sit and you talk on things like this for hours and hours and hours and hours. And all your energy goes to your derriere.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. I want to be able to sustain that whole issue about being able to do a show and have that stamina. But like you, I'm to the point where what I'm doing is bigger than just me.
Yeah.
When people say, well, Lynnie, you're going to sing again, you're going to do this again, you're going to move there. I will, but my talent in comparison to what something like this achieves, how it can expose people to such a wonderful chapter of the arts, my
Mhm.
talent, I don't believe can do that as well. So, I try to do this is my preference, my
Yes.
primary choice. But of course, I'm gonna always perform because I've
In
been
your
doing that since I was three years old. So, but when I think Harry Belafonte said it. He said he was not an actor who became an activist. He was an activist who was an actor.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
God bless him, he was just magnificent. I think, that's my opinion. I know, everyone has their opinions. So that now, the last thing that I asked you was about what you thought you would wanted to do um, in 5 years, and you said you want to be able to teach. If you're healthy, you want to be able to teach. And I know in some of the paperwork that you gave me, you mentioned Judith Jameson, you mentioned Carmen de Lavalla. These are women who I think are just national treasures,
They
you
are.
know, just national treasures. I remember seeing both of them when I was in school, being taken to concerts where they were performing, and it just looked like they never ran out of energy. I was like, how can you dance that long and at that peak and be so wonderful? Who in the part of dance that you do, who inspires you? Who inspired you particularly? Would you say, female, male, who inspires you to do what you did, whether you worked with them or whether you just saw them from afar? Do you have someone?
Is that in tap dancing? Because my aunt Joe Myers Brown has Philadelphia, and she's like Mrs. Philadelphia. She's like the icon of Philadelphia. And I used
Mhm.
to go to her schools, and I also lived with her for a time, but she was so serious about creating the best, right? I thought she was trying to kill us, but she wanted us to have the greatest technique. She wanted me to be a ballet dancer. She wanted me to be a modern dancer, which those are like the two things that I really didn't want to do. So I think that they encouraged me to really just like find what going to make me happy. I did it for them until I went to college. And then I said, I'm going to go to California and not dance. And that's when I told myself that. I was like, I'm not going to dance anymore. I'm just going to do my work and become a child psychologist. But then I just said, well, let me take a few classes on the side. And when I started doing that, other people would say, you need to be in this, you need to be doing this. They were trying to change my world around and bringing me back to dance. So I have to thank my Aunt Joan for, just inspiring me to just really do what I was supposed to be born to do. And that's dancing. It wasn't necessarily ballet or modern, but it's tap dancing. And that's my whole life. That's why I say life for me, it's tap dancing. When it changes my whole spirit. When I'm in, just walk around, I'm a normal person. Once I put on my tap shoes, I become somebody else. I don't know who it is, but it's like my whole, I don't have any problems when I put on my tap shoes. Whatever I'm going through or whatever is happening to me, I forget about it. That's why people can't understand why I have the two broken toes. They're like, sure, you have the two broken toes. I said, no, but I'm in my shoes. And as long as I'm in the atmosphere to tap, I'm going to be my best, so I live in the moment, but that moment that is tap dancing is what I love to do. So I'm usually happy about that. I'm inspired mostly by my Aunt Joan. And I will say today, the person that inspires me most is Dormisha. She's the queen of tap today. She's like my favorite person to watch. And I also support almost everybody that's coming up and making their own, world of tap, making their statement of what they believe that it should be. But I put Dormisha's first. I put her first.
Mhm. I have a favorite kind of, I guess, tap, but I don't discourage any kind of tap that really is done. I enjoy the artistry of it, the
Yeah.
rhythm of it. It's the rhythm, it's the sound. People say, what about my father used to say, my father used to tap. And
Oh,
he said, oh yeah, oh yeah. And he used to say, you have a heavy left foot. You know what that means.
yes.
I'm heavy footed on the left side. He says, you gotta learn to lift that. You gotta lift it. You gotta move it. You gotta move it. And I'm going, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. I'm trying my best.
Oh,
But it what it did was it made me, when I would go and see other dancers, when I would see people dancing, I then observed the discipline that they had and the concentration that it
focus.
takes. Now some people tap from the waist down, and then some people tap from the top of their heads
Mm-hmm.
all the way to the toes.
That's
And
true.
it's a different articulation, as you call it. It's a
Yeah.
different articulation. And if you could listen, when you listen to the rhythm, they're talking to you.
I'm
That's the
telling you.
whole,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You really, it is a part of the artistry that I really, really love. I admire it. I dabble in it. I have a great time in it. I've been put in shows where people thought, well, I've been trained by wonderful dancers to look like them. And
Yes.
and I do the best that I can. And then I get the heck out of Dodge. I
You
go,
are
let me
funny.
go back to doing a play for right now. Ooh, I'm tired.
You're funny. Really. I think the masters that we had and that I had, they all had something special. So I wanted to just live up to what their expectations were. So it taught me to go in different directions. And I am inspired by Henry Latang, and I also do a lot that he did. You know what I mean? I'd start on one foot and I start on that same foot again, so
Yeah.
things like that. When my students, I tell them now, I'm like, you may not have met Henry Latang, but he used to always stop and start, on the same foot, you know what I
Good.
mean? So it makes you not just like, walking you right side, left side, but sometimes you don't want to give a double there or a triple, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's
Hmm.
about the spirit of what you're saying when you're doing stuff. So,
It's
I'm
such a
inspired by
thinking
that.
process too.
Yes,
It's you are talking when you're doing it. It
it
is
is
because you're
medical.
listening. You're listening. I mean, I would look at those men, and like I said, 8 times a week, and you can't be around them and not learn some things, learn a respect of it, you
Yes.
know. And those guys, I mean, but they'd come off the street from eating a big meal, and all of a sudden they go right on the stage, and I said, I can't do that. I
Yeah.
can't eat before I sing, so I'm
Oh.
sitting there, I'm starving at the end of the show, and they're having a good time. But we can go back out and eat again. I was like, oh.
No, I don't know what they do with theirs, but yeah, I try not to eat before I have to really teach or anything because
Mhm.
I just want to be able to move, you know what I mean? So
Yes,
no,
it's that. Yes, it is
yeah,
that. But it is also, do you think that you will record your experiences? Anyway, you and Debbie get together and, um, have your memoirs and do things on film so that they can be shown in libraries, shown in schools. And I think it's very important that you all don't let that get away, that it's preserved. I think I just wanted to put that bug in your ear, and you carry it on to Debbie, and of course, give her my love.
yeah,
Um, uh, you know, um, because I think it's important that the two of you together that do what you do, um, that people see it. We
yeah.
don't see enough. We
Uh-huh.
don't see enough of the variety of people. We see what is picked, and we see those same people over and over and over and
Yep,
over again.
it's true.
And I want to make sure that you both get the recognition I think that you deserve. Why not?
Yeah.
You know,
I think that they're making Cap Calloway is having he's not having it, but his grandson is doing a documentary, one or two or three documentaries, and they've already did an interview with Deborah and I about when we used to work with Cap Calloway, because that was something that changed our whole life about our careers. To work with a legendary great like Cap Calloway was amazing. But also, they there's a few videos that they have collected, and they wanted to compare then and now how we are today, so we're working on like movements to try to just put how it was and how it is, things like
that's
that. So
fabulous. That is fabulous.
that's what we
It's
really
it's
want.
it's Oh, it's important. It's so important that we tell our own stories, that we
Yes,
don't allow people to edit our stories for us, that
yes,
you put it in, that is the story that you want people to remember,
uh,
and it's accurate. It is from your point of view.
yes,
So really do that. Do that. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful situation where, that can be done. Um, we of course we I we have my wonderful guest that is always there. I don't know if if uh if Mamie Duncan Gibbs has anything she wants to say on this one. She should let me know. Either I think you can raise your hand, or you can put it in the chat if you want to have something to say. We're not going to be on too long, but it is so much, I think, important that we capture, especially in dance, because it's very hard. Unlike a script, there are scripts to the choreographers use, but they're not as common that you can go and look at them. So
yes,
what really is sustained is the visual. And the more that you can do in that area, the better it can be, the more we know about, you can recall or you have films from it. Please do. Please do.
okay, we
Um,
want.
it's just one of those things. But I think that you've worked with some of the most wonderful people. And okay, I hear you. And it's just one of those things where um, I think that that should be recorded somewhere more than in your bio, or that it should be in a shelf in drama bookstore somewhere, what you all have done as a part of artistry, because that's a part of the arts.
Yes.
It's a part of the theater. It's part of our history, as we respect all those teams of people, the Nicholas brothers, the Hines brothers, all of those, and the individuals that do come around. Um, it is important that there's documentation that they did exist, because once they're gone, we really have no witness to it. We only have someone's opinion about it. So
Yes.
I always try to encourage people, put it down, write a diary, write a memoir. And, memoirs don't have to always have everybody's secret in it. It has to just have a recording of what happened accurately, you know.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be gossip. It just can be the storytelling.
Mhm. I would like to do that.
Yeah, I think you would be very good at it. And yeah, I really do. I really do. Is there any thought about tap that you want to say now to an audience who will see this recording? As I said, it's going to be on a lot of different places, and a lot of people all over the world get a chance to see it. I've got friends in Australia who see that, and they comment on what they see weekly, and in London, and in places. So, is there anything that you want to say about the art of tap?
I would say the art of tap for me is it's sharing. It's like it's never too late to become a tap dancer. Most people, if you say ballet, you have years that you had to put into a bracket that you can only fit into those years. But in tap dancing, some people, some of my students really have retired and now they want to tap dance. Some people are retired from ballet and now they want to tap dance. But we open our world up to everyone. It's not like it's not about size, it's not about shape, it's about just wanting to do it. And I love it. So I inspire people and I want to inspire them to want to try it. And once I know you try it, you will like it. That's what I believe. I believe that. So it's not easy. People think, and they show me this is like tap dance. I was like, that's not really tap. You know what I mean? But they
No, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah.
like that, because Maurice used to say, what is that? No, but the thing is, I believe in, when I show them and when they take class, they're like, this is hard, or this is very, they tell me all the time, it's really challenging. I said, well,
Challenging.
challenging is good. They tell me that every day. I said, don't tell them because they already told me that this challenge. I already know it's challenging. That's why I gave it to you. So
Yes.
the thing is that I want them to see that the challenging can help your brain, help your mind, help your body when you just really don't sit and watch TV all day. You can just
Yeah.
move your feet. It doesn't have to be really difficult. And that's why I teach the different levels in one class. But I believe that it's so healthy for your mind, body, and your soul that it's good for you. It has to be good for you. So, and that's why I'm still doing it. I mean, once I don't like it, and I don't think that's going to ever happen, but when I don't like something, I won't do it. You can ask Deborah that. I won't say I like it and do it. I just won't do it. That's just who I am. But I inspired. People tell me your energy in class it's so amazing. But I said, that's because I like what I'm doing. It's just, and I want everyone to like it. So it's something that I always just pass on to the younger people, older people. It's for everybody. It's
Yeah.
not about age or color. It's about just doing something that's good for you.
Well, I think that is worth ending this, because my goodness, it should encourage anyone to try to find where your classes are, when you are teaching. Be comfortable with that, knowing that there's no judgment in it, that everyone is welcome on every different level,
Yes.
and that it's a universal art form, that it doesn't belong to any particular persons, that it belongs to everybody. And that's what art is. It belongs to everybody. with no political affiliations, with no, sidebars or anything, not getting into that. It's a place where that stops at the door. And we just bring the creativity, the artistry, the discipline, the focus into the
Yeah.
room. That's what art is for me. Whenever it starts taking on different kinds of forms, and I had an artist say to me, "Well, every play is a political play," and I went, "Well, I hope not." I
I don't
hope
think
sometimes, subliminally, maybe, you're trying to say something, but I hope sometimes people are just coming in and watching the creativity.
yes.
I'm sure that there are a lot of things that you can take away from it, but that shouldn't be, I don't want that to be the aim. I don't want that to be the focus. I want people to come in and just watch what a creative mind could put on in a live environment, in a taped environment, in a movie. That, there's so many different kinds of ways that we can be creative, and that's the art form.
That's true.
That being said, I'm going to say thank you so much.
Thank you so much
I
for
I
having
am
me.
so happy that we got a chance to do this. It took us a minute because you're
Yeah.
so busy. Don't Let me tell you, people, you better catch her because it took me months to get her. I mean, I had her once and then she got booked and I said, oh, and we had to wait months. I said, so thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, my
More.
word is my bond. So
Oh, well, that's what my dad used to say. So, and that's what I live for. That's what I live for. So I'm going to end this now. I'm going to say goodbye to the audience, but stay on for a second afterwards. I want to thank you all for a great season. We will be doing this at least one more time this season before we take on our hiatus. And so I will see you on the radio, see you here on our webinar, and always remember the arts, it's all around you. Just think about everything that you see is probably done by an artisan somewhere. A poster, a piece of graffiti, um, uh, and how you put the straw in the cup. Somebody thought of that. It's an art. It's an art. All right. See ya. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
thank,
Thank you, Jermaine. Thank
thank you.
you for attending, the after show afterthoughts. It's an
Thank you.
art.
Have it. Thank you.